Hey, we're back. Let's do it to it. Alright, so he plays G3. We have to look for tactics here. So let's first take a look. Queen H4, check. G takes H4, so there's nothing there. We don't have any checks. We need to find something that what are we missing here? Well, I want to play knight takes f2, rook takes f2, bishop takes f3. But I don't really see a continuation there. Maybe queen g5. If queen g5, then bishop takes g4, bishop takes g4, bishop takes g4, f3, queen h5. Yeah, I'm liking this. And then we slide over here and we come in. Okay, whoa. This is interesting to say the least. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see, h4. That's he'll just play bishop takes h4. Well, then we pick up bishop, pawn h4, because we're trying to counter strike his strike. So pawn h4, if bishop takes e7, pawn h takes g3, and if f takes g3, then king takes our g8 takes e7. Excuse me, because that's interesting. There is f6. f6, and if he retreats all the way to excuse me, if he retreats all the way back to d2, we've shut down that whole diagonal. So if you guys have any ideas, I'm more than happy to entertain them. I really don't see anything better than h4, because that counter strikes. f6 allows for a weak point on g6. So if we do f6, you can play bishop d2, and that whole line is shut down out of that, and we don't have really any more attack. Yes, we repelled the bishop, but at what cost, though? See, if we play h4, it's got bishop takes e7, h takes g3. If f takes g3, then we can play either king takes e7, or one of the knights will take on one of the knights will take on e7. Yeah, like so the way to counter a strike. The other ones, the f6 just closes down. I'll show you. This is more of a reactive move here. Then he comes back, and look, now we don't have any attack anymore. This is what I was talking to you guys about. If he takes here, we take here. He takes back, we're actually up a whole bunch. Our pawn structure is all intact, and we have one. And our opponent's pawn structure is messed up to the nth degree. Horrible. So we're doing good. We're doing good so far. So good. Okay. Boy. Okay. We have a pin with a double attack. Basically, we're pinning this knight. Oops. We're pinning this knight, and then cross pinning all the way to the queen. So we have to figure out what we need. One sec. Let me get a drink of water. better. Okie dokie, I'm back. Ready for action. Ay, ay, ay. Trying to figure out if there's any checks that could be played here, like queen f1. But then rook would go to f2 for our opponent. And we really haven't acquired much out of that. I'm wondering if this is a perpetual. Let's see if we, what do you guys think, huh? Are you guys, do you guys have any ideas? Let's see, rook takes, g2, queen takes g2, queen d1, the queen intercepts, we just go back and forth. Not really sure about that one. So we'll, because we don't want to be guessed, we'll just pull up another one that we can actually do, because that one was really complicated. We'll just pull up one that we can do. I don't know what that. I don't know how to handle that one. You have to give it your best. Oops. Whoa. Those are. I think these are TV like guys that are posting right now on chess.com, I believe. So that'd be cool. Let's see here. Queen f2. I like that idea, Eerie, but there's just I don't want to sound negative or anything, but there's just one sitch that we have to keep in mind. This is not it's not a bad idea. He has queen takes h6 and check, and that's the only problem. I was thinking of something similar to this. I wanted to propose it to you. Uh, is if we played queen f2, check, king h1, maybe we can actually trade off the queens and and play queen 10. Oops. Ew. That was weird. Queen takes e3. Queen takes e3. Rook takes e3. And then we play d takes e3. What do you think about that idea? Maybe trying to go for a trade our queen for and see if we can't get a passed pawn in that line. What do you got? What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good idea, Eerie? Or do you think it's a perpet with queen f2, check, and then the king goes to h1, and then queen f1, and the king goes to h2. There's that idea too. There's a perpetual that we can do, or there's a trading of the queen. What would you think about that? Because I'm just wondering what's your opinion on those two ideas? Because I know we get a pass pawn in the line with the queen trades, because our queen on when we take the rook covers h6, and so when he'll have to take, and then we can play pawn takes after the rook takes, and we have a pass pawn on e3, and we're 2 squares away from queening, and our opponent would have to really be careful about not losing to us queening. Yeah, that is that. See, that is the one thing that I'm kind of looking at. I'm not real sure if it's a perpetual. That is one thing I was taking a look at, is that takes is possible. So we could try moving king e7 at that point. And then he would have to. I don't know if he has any more checks after that though. So I'm not. That's one thing that I'm not sure if he has in the line that we're just talking about here. Queen takes h6 check, and then king e7. So maybe queen queen f6 at that point might be a pain in the neck. So I'm really considering the perpetual. What do you think? Because I really don't see any way for us to win. I see the best outcome is actually a perpetual, a draw. Well, maybe we can just take. Maybe. But the only stitch is he can actually, after that, he can't he just play rook e8 mate though? I'm wondering if I may have totally overlooked queen takes h3 check. That might actually not be a bad move. That covers our pawn, and then we can pick up a rook. So queen takes h3 check, king g1, king g1, and then d takes e3. D takes e3. I'm thinking that might be the idea. And now we have, let's see, if we push, he'll block. There we go. So it's a good thing we went over that. Great work. Oh yeah, we'll have to take a look at that line. I think you're right. Yeah. I think, yep. But we figure this. I like the Aragon saying in Helm's Deep when he's talking to the elves. He goes, "Give them. They'll show you no mercy. First, show them none. Take from them everything. They'll give them nothing, but take from them everything." That's the whole thing. With that queen takes, we took from our opponent a pawn, and we got a rook and mate in the end. So we took from them, we gave them nothing but took from them everything, which is we win, hooray. But you know what? Then you get to do one thing that's cool. You get to teach, and that's what is important. You get to teach what you've learned. I'm thinking about, I know this kind of looks odd, but I'm thinking bishop h6, and if g takes h6, we can actually go g7. What's your opinion on that one? What do you think about the bishop move? Because I really don't see anything else any other way. Because if we try to push e7, he'll just take. We have to somehow make a breakthrough. That looks right at first. I was thinking King H5. King H5. Rook H1 check. King H6. Rook there check. King takes the pawn. Check. And basically we can make our way around, and he'll have to take. Oh, so it was a knight move. Check. Wow, I didn't even see that one was. I was looking at potentially winning via going around, picking up the pawn, and then having him have to take. But that was an interesting one for sure. I'm thinking of bishop a6, and if g takes f3, bishop takes e2, check. And if he goes king e1, which is a big time mistake, then we have bishop c4, bishop c4, and it leads to mate, and that's a check. What do you think about that, Erie? Do you think that's a good setup? Let's see, rook takes e2. I actually looked at that. There takes there. He'd actually just move back, I believe. I was thinking because bishop a6 is actually a pin on the rook. Bishop a6 actually is a pin on the rook. So I was wondering, do you think that's how we win our material back with a superior position? What do you think about that actually threatens mate as well? And see if he, this is what I'm thinking, bishop a6, and if rook d3, bishop takes d3, c takes d3, and then now the idea of the rook takes e2, king takes e2, and then knight d4, and we there's a fork of the bishop and the king at that point. What do you think about that? I don't. Bishop. Oh, this is our move. Is see, it's actually a discovery attack because the king. See if we go a through a6. See a6, and if he takes our knight, this was the line if he takes our knight on g takes f. So bishop a6, g takes f3, and now that we take, we're forking his king and his rook, and if the king goes to e1, he walks right into our line of fire with our artillery. And so then when we move our bishop back to c4, it's actually a discovered check on the king, and he's basically stuck in the center, and c4 blocks out the light squared bishop, and the only one that could check is the dark squared bishop, and then when that happens we take rook takes e5, and it's mate because our light squared bishop covers here. Oh, I guess it's not mate. No, I was wrong. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not mate because he can actually flee. So that's probably c4 is probably a not the best move in that line. Probably just retreating. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Retreating all the way out to. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Is probably retreating back maybe to a6 is actually check, maybe a better idea. And then we can reroute and go in a whole different way. I see what you're saying. Or potentially we could win a pawn. We could win a pawn too. Or win the rook. Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a lot that could be yeah. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this is the line that I looked at here, that we were looking at. And we pick up a piece. But I see exactly what you're saying. I went out really far, but I missed that he has this square here. So after here, if he takes, this is even worse. We take there. This is what we were talking about. Not the best line. Just plain out taking here is actually best. I missed actually this move here, so that when the king comes up, you have you can play here. So he's actually in a deep problem, because if he tries to run, we get mate. So he really can't run in that line. He'd have to go bishop e6, then you take with the rook, and then king to d2. And the reason he has to give that up is now his bishop covers d6. So we actually acquire a whole bishop in that line, and we're just totally smashing at this. So we have a lot of play, and we would just take at that point, and now we're up a whole entire rook. And let's see, he's only got 5 pawns and we've got 6, so we're up basically 6 pawns, but positional wise we're up 9. So great job on that find. Nice work. Nice work. You are doing very good today. We're getting back the points. We're seeing it, and that's the most important thing in these tactics, is to be able to see all the way out. This is an interesting move sequence that I was kind of proposing here. I was thinking rook f7, but then I saw that knight e7 kind of does away with that idea. I'm thinking that we may have knight c5 check, and if king king d6 might actually be an idea. If king d6, then we have queen takes e5 and check. That'd be check, by the way. King takes e5, and then bishop f4, and that skewers the f6. Why did I do f6? That's f4. Where did I get f6 from? That is funny. F4, and that wins the queen. So and there's also knight c5 check. If king, we'll say c8, king c8, we can play maybe knight takes b7, and then king takes b7. So I'm not sure if that's the route well, if he does that, then we have, well, actually that's a bad move. That's a losing move if he takes. I can't believe that. Rook. Well, he could intercept with his rook f7 check, and then knight e7, huh? So what do you think? What do you think about knight e5 check? Do you think that's the first starter move, or do you think it's? What's the first starter move? Knight c5 check, or do you think it's rook f7 check, or do you have another kind of starter move idea that you've been looking at? I think we're up a whole piece in that line. Yeah, I'm liking that. Because after he takes, we grab it with our knight b7. Great job. That was excellent. We actually end up a whole piece ahead, a whole bishop ahead. Nice work. Oh wait, what? Hold on. Why didn't he go d4? D4. Okay, I'll write that down. We'll take a look at that. We'll look at problem. Okay. We'll take a look so I can remember I wrote it down. Because we'll finish this one out and then we'll take a look at the problem. Well, he would have lost his queen. He would have lost his queen to the bishop. The king could have taken, and then when he moved out of the way, the bishop would have taken the queen, and we would have won a queen at that point. But we'll go through that. That is a good idea to actually take a look at. Okay, this one here is, I'm looking at queen f6. This queen takes f6, And if queen takes d1, then we have rook takes g5, and I believe that's mate. So he queen takes f6. How does he save that? How does he save himself after a queen take? Do you see any saving move for his opponent or for anything? I really don't see any way that he can save himself in that line. h6. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that would be a saving grace move, wouldn't it? Okay, so queen takes f6, h6. Queen g6, check. King f8. Queen takes h6, check. King How do we handle that? Hey, how you doing? Really good. We're solving some good puzzles here. Yeah, we're trying to figure out if queen takes f6 and then when black plays h6, how do we handle that? That's kind of what we're looking at this moment. We could potentially Erie just win a pawn with queen d5 check. If king f8, we can just play rook takes d2, and then I think he's still up a pawn though, but his queen's under fire at that point. But I don't know if that's best. See, he's up. Our opponent's up 2 pawns, and I think we have to go for the knockout here. I don't think that d5, queen d5's the check's the right move. Even though we win a pawn, we're still a pawn down in that line. We are attacking the queen, but is there anything more than Oh, and by the way, I forgot, we can't do a check. We can't actually do a check. Queen takes f6 and then h6. We can't do queen g6, so we would actually have to do queen takes h6 in that line. Well, if we did take the rook, rook takes c1. He would excuse me. He'd actually take d takes c1 equals queen. So that's the only sitch with taking. Queen takes c1, and then he'll take with his pawn and get a queen. We're actually using our rook on d1 as kind of a blockader. It gives us two moves. It gives us an ability for two moves. It's okay. Hey, you know what? That's the whole thing of what we're looking at right now. We have to visualize it all the way through. Yeah, we have to see like what would happen if queen takes f6. Could the you saw h6. So then we have to consider, what do we do after h6? Where would our queen be best placed? Well, now we can take the pawn. We can actually take the pawn and still be threatening to play rook takes g5 check. So I'm pretty sure that it's this. And then at this point we'd have to take, and then we can win this pawn. See, we have to go back, and we're gonna look at that one problem I promised you I would, Erie. And then we'll take a look at the one we just worked on at this moment, the one we just worked on. Okay, so he played here, and then we checked, and then he moved up. That's what you're saying? Then we played queen takes, and why didn't he go? Let's see, you were saying, let me go up. Trying to figure out which one was. Okay, so we already did that. No, that's not it. Let's see here. Queen. I have to look for queen takes e5. Queen takes right there. Queen takes e5. Oh, why didn't? Okay, gotcha. Why didn't he go after takes? And here, why didn't he go king h4? Okay. Well, because knight takes at that point, and then king e, and then we take. Yeah, it was a royal fork. So it was after there, king takes, and he actually, there's a whole mating line of 13 here. To mate in 13. So that was excellent. I'm glad you looked at that, because that's important. Oops, let's get back to our puzzle, and now let's I was going to show you why we don't take is we use this as this piece right here is kind of like it's a guard. It knows that it's going to give its life for the kingdom, but it's okay to do that because it gives our troops enough time to sneak around into the castle and basically take out the king. So this is a decoy piece. This piece is like, I'm okay to give my life for the kingdom because I know in the end my life won't be in vain. And so, and it was right. So after takes, basically we have mate 3. Oops, Rachi, sorry. And then that's the mate. That's it. So it was that was the reason. Excellent work. Some pieces are really brave. They're like super duper brave. They'll give their life for the kingdom to win. That's their whole purpose is to save the kingdom and to defend it. It doesn't matter if they have to give their life. That's what a sacrifice is. It's I remember the thing that no greater love than a friend laying down his life for a friend. That's the ultimate sacrifice when a friend lays down his life for a friend. So if you think about it, that rook was the friend to all those other pieces, and it gave its life for those pieces to be victorious. That's why we should never take a sacrifice of a piece lightly. We should make sure it works because it's giving its life for victory. And I think if a chess player looked at it that way, I think maybe we would take our sacrifices a little bit more concrete. We would make sure that it works out. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, we're down a whole piece, so we basically there was a sacrifice here. We just talked about a sacrifice, and there most definitely probably was a sacrifice there that allowed for this opening to happen. I'm thinking that first line was queen f3 check, and then what would happen is knight f5, and then we have knight takes b7 check. The king would move to g8, and then we play knight takes d8. What do you think about that? We may be able to go for more of a knockout though. Because we might rather than winning the queen, we might want to go for more of a KO on that one. We might have the ability to play knight takes f5, knight takes f5 check, knight e7, and then knight knight takes e7 check, and we basically just mop up the whole entire army. We just keep we mop up everything in that line. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put an E. That'd be kind of hard if you didn't know what the last one was. E7. Not E. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not check. If the king moves instead, I believe it's mate. Queen f3, king g8, and then it's queen f7 mate. I believe it would be mate at that point. So I think we win the entire kingdom if yeah, if I'm thinking if we play knight takes e5, he could actually play king g8, and then we really don't have anything after that. So I think this is our only opportunity to win the queen. Yeah, we don't really have anything after that, because if we try checking on e7, he'll play knight takes e7. Yeah, I'm thinking that this has to be the only way to, and then we win a queen. Yeah. And this, I believe we can actually rook takes c3, check. And b takes, oops, not v, b takes c3, bishop takes a4, a4, rook takes d d8, check. King takes d8. I'm thinking we're up a, are we equal at that point? I think we're equal material at that point though. Are we equal material? I think we've acquired equality. See, we're down a piece here. So I think this is the only way to equalize the material. Do you see any other lines, Erie, that could potentially be playable here? And other chess crunchers, viewers out there, you're more than welcome to put in too. There's no wrong answer. So you're more than welcome to help. So feel free to put in an idea on the puzzles. So now you see why we have to take this move right here, the knight a4 that we talked about that they take back. Now you see why the rook. Now you see why we have to play rook takes c4, huh? I mean, see, now you see why you got to play rook takes c3. Check. You remove that rook. I mean, not rook, the knight. Sorry, the rook removes the knight. And therefore, when he takes back, we actually get to win the queen. I believe that is right. Oh, so we are wrong. Oh, oh, yikes. Whoa. Ouch. They did the same exact move sequence we thought. Yeah, ouch. That only had a 2.6% pass rate. Boy, you got to be on the lookout for that. That's ouch. That was a sting for sure, big time. Owie, owie. let's see here. That's right. Let me see. What are we missing here? Boy. Would this maybe be knight d4? Oh, knight d4 loses. That would be mate. Knight d4, and then queen takes b7 mate. So that'd be a mate. So we can't do that move. Interesting. I'm wondering, this kind of sounds, just bear with me on this. Rook takes g3. Queen takes f5, rook takes g, 2, check, and then we play bishop takes f5. What do you think about that, Erie? It would end up in mate. What do you think? And if he takes the rook with the pawn, we win the queen. If he takes the rook with the pawn, we win the queen on h7. So it's a discovery attack. Excuse me. What do you think? And it shuts everything down. Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm with you on that. I'll put a puzzle on. I'll be right back, and we'll take a look at it when we get back. So do you have any lines that you've been looking at, Erie, while I was gone? Okay. Perfect. Looking for a continuation. Yeah, that's what I learned about these puzzles. You need to, before you move, you gotta have a like a plan. You have to see it all the way through. It has to be like kind of a movie picture kind of, or a film. He moves there, he moves there, and you get to see the continuation, and it has to work out all the way to the end. Let's see here. queen take, actually I was looking at d2. If queen takes d2, queen takes d2, knight takes d2, and then bishop e3, but I'm not sure if that actually is a good move, because I think he could just move his rook to c2, and then he guards. A5 first. Boy, this is queen takes c3, rook takes c3, d2, rook d3. Thinking we're kind of forced to actually trade the queens off. Yeah. And then we're getting ready to, if he takes on e5, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This right here, we take here, he takes, we take here, If he takes there, we push up and we get a fork. If he takes here, then we play bishop there and we're forking these two pieces as well. So we'll be picking up material. I'm looking at knight c3. Knight c3. I'm looking at that for that move. What you think? Because if knight c3, d takes c3, rook takes c1. Kind of like it's kind of like, oh boy, what do we do? What do we do? I think well, I was thinking about if we do knight c3, d takes c3, rook takes e7, king g1, and then rook he2, and then rook takes c1, but I think we're down in material on that line. We're trying to survive here. upgrades with you on that. Or is it queening is the... Huh. Oh, he loses after that. Wow, I did not see that. Wow, that's a subtle move. Yeah, if he takes here, we come over and now we're in the lead. We're in the lead. Wow. And we've unwound all of our pieces. Where wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's impressive. Wow. Whoa. There we go. Yeah. Hoorah. We got another giving us a sweet one now. Yay. We're happy, happy, happy. Tuesday. There we go. We're good now. Starting to heat up. Knight H, there, check. Knight H6, check. Check. If King G7, Queen takes E6, check. If King takes H6, huh? I'm kind of curious. What do you think about that line? We could try. There is Knight E7 check too. There's Knight E7 check. What do you think about that? What do you think about Knight E7? See, Knight E7 check. If King H8, Queen takes. Actually, we would take the rook, so we can't do that. So King G7, Queen takes, F E6, check. Queen takes E6, and then whatever intercepts, we can play G5 on, I believe. Oh. But I don't understand. Why can't he just take our knight, though? Do we, okay. After here, he comes up, we take. He takes our knight. So G5, he comes up here. Oh, Queen E2, gotcha. Okay. We don't have anything anymore. Okay. Gotta always keep that in mind, that this is a huge thing. queen c6 is a big, nice. So G. Now we're double and triple. So rook e8. First you grab that. King h8. And then g5. Now we're trying to wiggle our way in to get to the king. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. This is a cute one here. Bishop g5, bishop g5. Because if we play bishop h6, he'll play queen g8, and then he'll have a pin. But if we play bishop g5, and then he plays queen g8, we can actually play bishop f6, and then he has to go queen g7, and then queen takes g7 mate. I thought that was kind of cute. Let's see, queen takes b7. That's an interesting line. So what do you think about queen takes b7? And then we kind of can wiggle our way into c8 mate. See, so we may be able to queen takes b7, and then if he allots us queen c8 is actually mate. So I'm just trying to see if that's a but we can actually we can gain it back with queen takes b7. We could actually gain our piece back with interest, and even potentially a rook too, in as well. So what do you think? I think our first move is queen takes b. Are you with me on that? Queen takes b7. And then we'll all right, let's give that our first move, and then we get to see what they play. Oh. Well, this is a cincher. Rook takes d7. That's a gimme. How are we doing for time? Perfect. We'll do a Gadakomsky game, and then we can do one more puzzle, and I got a log. Nice. Okay. D4, knight f6. We're doing the Indian game of the London system. Now this is the that's a cool move. I like that move. That's like taking advantage of a pawn issue. Now he's wow. Total ownage on that pawn. There we go. And a pawn is 1 castle. So he's up 1 whole pawn, which is really that's nice. He wants to hold on to his queen too as well. So why not? You know, we have a wonderfully outposted knight. Nothing's gonna kick it out except another piece. So this is a heaven sent position for us. And now he's trying to bulldoze his way through with so that when this takes, actually he takes there, he doesn't want to take here because I'm not sure. I think it has something to do with, does it? Is it because of that? Then he has there. Maybe it's something to do with doubling up and attacking this here. Let's see why that's wrong. I'm kind of curious. I'm thinking doubles is what he wants, yeah. And then this knight's gonna collapse, and we can start pouring in the reinforcements. This would have actually been a better idea. He actually took this way. So he blundered. That was a mistake. Now this knight is forever entrenched there, so the bishop is good on this long diagonal. It takes scope on these pawns, so we have to keep a close eye if black is, that he doesn't lose that pawn, because he'll have a headache. So now bishop takes, rook takes check first, rook takes, and then rook takes. And now if we can liquidate down, we're up a whole pawn, and if we can get to a knight versus knight endgame, we're doing really good, because he has a weak A pawn and he's got a weak C pawn, because there's no pawn to protect it. In ours, really, there is no weakness. He'd have to go after our base pawn on B2, and that's going to be hard to do. Now we're still holding on to our pawn. Everything's going for lockdown. He's trying now that everything's kind of in lock. He's going to try to get this pawn pushed up the board, the A pawn. and his opponent resigned because there's really nothing he can do. He could try that, but or he can even try taking, but this pawn is going to queen. And when it comes, see you later, alligator. I like the London's system when properly played. Alright, let's do a couple more puzzles. That was fun. We do a game every night, and what we're gonna do as well. Ganakomsky lost with some of the London games to some players. So what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll do ones they lost to, so we can see what not to do. See, we're looking at what to do, and the next ones we're going to look at is what not to do, so that you don't fall for any of the traps that your opponent sets for you. So it's kind of like, wait a second, don't we want to look at ones that we win? Well, you want to find out where the greats went wrong, so that you don't fall for that. And that's really important that we do that. Alrighty, righty-roo. Ooh, nice. Oh, snap. I always get a little too takey on that. I needed to not do that. I was so happy, like, we got it, then I realized, oh no, we don't. See, if we take the pawn with the bishop takes d6. He's got bishop c7. Bishop takes c6, bishop c7. So, actually, we could just play bishop b7. Sorry about that, guys. Should have seen that. King takes b7, and then h8 check. Rook takes h8, and then queen takes h8, and we wrap a whole piece on that. Yeah. Don't complicate it. Just go for simplicity. Just go simple. Do you have an idea? There's a couple ideas that I'm looking at. G takes f6. Then he has knight takes f5 check. So what do you think, Erie? Or do you think we could also just move our king h8 as well. So we can take or move our king. What do you think? G takes f6 or king h8, because those are really our two. Well, I guess we have queen takes, but that'd be not a very good move. I don't think we'd be satisfied with that move. So you really have three, I guess. What are you thinking? G takes f6? Yeah. Or is it? So it's king moves. We take. What's wrong with what's wrong with taking here? Ooh. Oh, we're up material after that. Drat, I should have seen where we're up material. Ah, we have to get a couple to get back. We gotta get back. We gotta get back to the basics. Yes, we do. Get back to our rating. Huh. Okay. A rook. Okay, let's see. It's king moves. Where's a check? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Take a look. Ooh, interesting. Would potentially bishop takes e4, queen takes e4, and then bishop h2 check. I'm liking that move. Yes, sir. Loving the discovery. You gotta set up a discovery. Let's see how we doing on our time. Ooh, we gotta. We'll finish up on this one. Let's give this 100%, 110%. Boy, let me see here. Let's end on a good one, Yuri. Let's do this to it. Let's do it to it. We got this. Queen's almost trapped. So I'm wondering if there's not something to that. Ooh, nice. That is sure it, isn't it? Nice, nice, nice. Nice job. Excellent. We'll end on that. Great work. Do you have any questions on this puzzle or any ones prior that you want to go over before I log off? I'll give you a sec or two. Okay. Right here? Gotcha. Okay, let's take a analyze into this. Oh, why did the queen take? Well, let's say the bishop moved, it would actually be a mate. And the queen, if the queen did move, let's see, where could the queen move? I really don't see any, we actually pulled it onto a discovery, so I don't really know where the queen else could because we're threatening mate. That's why this idea works, is it threatens checkmate. That's why when we moved here, this is a threat. And that's what I saw, and I was like, huh, if we could pull the queen onto the square E4, we then have a discovery. And when the rook takes, we can actually take because our king covers that. Why it didn't run? Oh yeah, if it I'm sure it would love to have ran, but now it tells you why you have to be careful of your pawns. And look at these bishops. They're like, it's like now you get to see what my teacher taught me was that 3 pieces. Oops, yeah, 3 pieces mate. You have your 1, your 2, and your 3. You have 3 pieces that are checkmate. You could play something like that, but that actually loses as well. And then he comes up and then you could just pick the queen up. And so yeah, okay, so you got everything's good with that. And do you have any more questions on any other puzzles? You're good? Okay. Alrighty. Oh wait, wait a second. You have it all good? Okay, all good. Gotcha. Well, okay. I wanted to thank Erie, for helping out. That was great. We had some fun. Had some up and downs. Man, I gotta say that 801. I think they misjudged that because that was a lot. That was very complicated. It only had, I think, a 2.6% pass rate. I don't know who could have solved that. That was kind of a tricky one, but we learned. We learned. That's what matters. It's not about the rating because it's about understanding why each puzzle's played. And remember, life is about treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistakes that define you. That's from Tom Thumb Thumb, and I liked that. I liked that. So I wrote that down, and I was like, that's something to always keep in your back pocket. Is, you know what? We'll repeat number one again because that's the thing that we need to kind of focus on. Life is about treasuring your victories. So we got to treasure those, wins, but we have to also treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. That's great for a chess player. So like when we get those right, we go yay. But when we lose, we go, what did we learn from that? And Bruce Lee, we can also apply that to Bruce Lee. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. There are no limits. There are plateaus, and we must not stay there. We must go beyond the plateau that we're at right now and keep moving forward. We got the experience with that one puzzle that we checked out before basically I logged off. I'm logging off now. We found out that, like what the teachers do say is 100% true, that 3 pieces are enough to checkmate an opponent. We had 2 bishops and a rook, and we even were able to set up a tactic called a discovered check, and we won because we drew the queen onto a square. We could actually do a discovery and pick it up, and we won. So that's something to look forward to as well. And we have to always remember to keep our blades sharpened. And when you sacrifice a piece, remember, I always remember the saying that there's no greater love than a friend lay down his life for a friend. So when you look at a sacrifice for your pieces, remember that piece is laying down its life for the army. So it's no greater love than that piece laying down its life for the team. So when you think of sacrifices, make sure they work. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And what we have to do is be ready in season, out of season. Always show yourself to be improved. You know what? Use our mind for the Lord. He's the King, and He's the one that we should always strive to honor and please, because He's the one who truly loves you. Okay, and what do we always do? We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down and study when most won't. We do. And that makes all the difference. And it's not about rating points. It's about the learning process. Because my teacher told me, I'll give you one more advice, chess crudgerism from my teacher. Rating will come, but learning is forever. Okay. And as Wesley so says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless. And I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And Lord willing, we'll be back on tomorrow. And we'll keep pushing forward, striving to learn more and improve and get better. And keep on rising to honor the Lord. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hoorah, be blessed, and keep studying chess and having fun. Be blessed. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.